Well, I don't know what happened there, but my browser failed to play the clip. But anyway, welcome in, everyone. We're running off with some great technical start already today. So tonight we got a couple of the guys involved here. We got the crew kicking it with another version of our way too early top 25 here that you're going to see. You'll see these around, and this is our version. We tabulated amongst all the group, put it together, and we're going to kind of talk about a little bit and go through it some. Without further ado, we will get rolling here with the man up in the top left-hand corner of your screen, our buddy Robert over there of WTP for Life. What's going on over there? Put those away. It's too early for that. We ain't even got to the rankings yet. Put them horns down. Get them out of here.
It's never too early for the hook 'em horn, baby. I'm excited about tonight's top 25. I know my Longhorns going to be in there somewhere between 1 and 25. So I'm definitely excited about that because 10, 13 years ago, man, we couldn't even sniff the top 25.
For sure. You know they're going to be in there. Some of us may think they don't need to be in there, but, you know, they're going to be in there anyway. We're going to drop down to the bottom left to, I still think he needs to change his name from One Take to Mini Take, but that's all right. We're going to let it slide for tonight. So here's our man, One Take Zaya in the building. What's going on over there with you?
I'm solid, man. Hey, man, you gonna put some respect on my name, though, man. It's always One Take. You know how it go. Hey, I'm the total opposite of Rob. You know, 10, 15 years ago, I know I was gonna show up in the top 5. I know I am. I'm gonna do this every year because this is what we do, baby. What it do with the crew, man? What's up with y'all?
We're living it, man, living it. And last on our introductory list, but most definitely not least, is the man himself, Post Game. What's going on, Post Game?
What's up, SEC? What's up, fellas? Man, I'm excited to get in this way too early top 25. And you know me, man, just trying to feed the kids before they eat me.
For sure. Everybody kind of running through talking about they knew they were going to be there and all this. I knew we were always going to be in the top 25. It's just we had a problem with staying there. So hopefully that all has passed us in the thing. But real quick, before we get into these rankings, I do want to give a shout out. We have one of our other guys, Douglas. I call him Douglas. Doug Jones down in Houston joins us from time to time. He was going to join tonight, but decided it was more important for him to watch the SWAC softball tournament where his daughter is actually playing right now. So they're in their game right now. I don't remember who they're playing. He told me. Let me look real quick, but it's on. He told me. I don't even remember who they're playing tonight, but Arkansas Pine Bluff is in the SWAC tournament. So Doug did send his rankings in, but was unable to join to watching his daughter play. So we wish the Arkansas Pine Bluff team good luck in their SWAC run and see where they go from there. Other than that, earlier today, everybody sent in their rankings, and you know we got them all situated and added up. And how I did it was I went through and I ranked it. First place was 25 points, all the way down to 1 for 25th. And then I added up the scores across the board, tabulated them, and here's what we come up with. So outside of the top 25 teams, just missing the cut. And the only top 25 that matters, by the way, is the WTP Sports Dudes top 25. This is the legit one. So just missing the cut, you had Missouri and TCU with 8 votes each. Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State got 2 votes. And then the lovely Florida Gators received 1. So those were the teams that were just outside of our top 25. Y'all feel like any of these teams should have or could have maybe made a run up in there? Or you think this is pretty good to leave them sitting on the outside looking in?
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, One Take.
Yeah, I think I had Virginia Tech at a pretty solid number, like in the 18, 19 area. So
No,
I, you
you
said
had
Virginia Tech, right?
you had Virginia Tech. This is why I print out everything. You had them 24th.
24th. Oh, okay. I guess that ain't bad. Everybody ain't gonna vote for them. So yeah, that's one team though. I do think though, they can make a move. Uh, in their conference. New coach, we know, of course, but I think they're gonna have a lot of Big Ten players over there, and I think them Big Ten players can definitely do what they need to do in order for that team to be a competitive team in that league.
For sure. What'd you
Yeah,
have,
I had
Rob?
TCU. I had TCU in my top 25. I think I might have had them right at 25. But when I look at that Virginia Tech team, I look at that Oklahoma State team, I look at that Florida team, and that Missouri team, I probably would have had those two SEC teams in the top 25 had we not seen so many other SEC teams in there, which we know at the end of the season, those two are going to have a tough time being in the top 25. Even though that Florida team is really, really talented, it's just are they going to be able to win the games that they need to? New head coach, new everything, but they got a lot of talent on that team. So I can see why somebody definitely had them in their top 25. I had them right on the outside of mine, along with Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State and Missouri. I just couldn't get them enough love to put them in my top 25. But I like the fact that they're right on the cusp of the top 25 because they are going to be some really good teams this season. They just happen to be playing some really, really tough teams this season as well.
Yeah, fellas, I had Missouri and Oklahoma State right there. Like Rob was mentioning on the cusp, I actually had Oklahoma State at 25. I just like what they were able to bring over from North Texas, Maker and Hawkins. I think, with the resources Oklahoma State is pouring into that program, they may be able to make some noise this season in the Big 12. And then Missouri, if not for nothing, having probably the best running back in the nation, top three, and Ahmad Hardy. So those are some teams to watch for outside of our top 25 for sure.
Yeah, 100% on those. To be in all transparency, I'm the one that gave Florida their one vote. I was just kind of stuck with who to put at 25, and I just felt like Florida seemed like a good fit to me. I like the new coach they got down there, so we're going to see how that plays out. So moving ahead from there, we rank into our bottom 5 of the top 25, where we wind up with Tennessee, Houston, Louisville, Utah, and Clemson. Little more transparency here. There was 2 people that voted for Clemson in this whole poll. And they had them pretty high. One had them 13 and one had them 17, I believe. So there's some people that got some faith in Dabo over there, for sure. So this one, I think Tennessee is that team. They were one of the teams to me that was on the fringe. I just don't know what you're going to get from the quarterback situation with Aguilar not being back. So we'll see how that plays out. Anything else on here kind of surprise you? You see anybody, you think these teams are slotted right? You think somebody's too high, some too low? Any thoughts you got on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Outside of Clemson, that was the only team that I didn't even have in that projected area. I definitely had Tennessee around between 20 and 25. I had Houston between 20 and 25. I had Louisville a little bit higher than 20 to 25, I think. Utah right around there. Clemson was a team I didn't have there. I'm just not sure what Clemson is going to be. The verdict is still out on them. The verdict is still out on Dabo and if he can get this team turned around. He had a lot of talent last year. We've seen, I think they had 11 guys get drafted this year, or close to that. and they were horrible. And it's like, even if those guys were hurt part of the season, you still expected that Clemson team with all of that talent to be way better than what they were. They lost to, I think, a Syracuse team, and I think Syracuse put it on them pretty good. So I'm not sold on Clemson yet. I probably got Clemson in my top 35, between 30 and 35, but definitely not in my top 25.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rob. I just need to see it from Clemson before I can put them in the top 25. Um, I know Dabo is a great coach. I know he's been down lately, but I just need to see it from those guys. I want to see the quarterback situation from Tennessee. Houston is a sleeper team. I think they could make some noise this year. Also, a team that was just outside of the 25 for me was a team like Arizona, with a guy who started for this would be his fourth straight year starting at the quarterback position. I don't want to butcher his name. I believe it's Fafiti, but I'm real high on Louisville this year. I think King Ho's coming over to work with the Browns. We saw what the Browns were able to do with Tyler Shuck and them having Isaac Brown, one of the best running backs in the nation. I think Louisville, along with that pass rush that they have, can make some noise this year. Utah is definitely a team to look out for. How are they going to play without Kyle Whittingham, with him going to Michigan? They still got Dampier at quarterback. It's an interesting scenario there.
So this is the two teams I identified: Tennessee and Lincoln is my boy, but Louisville. This is why I like Missouri in this back half of my top 25. Post game mention, we got Ahmad Hardy. We also got Austin Simmons that transferred over, who Lane Kiffin believed, was a baller. He started over Trinidad Chambliss. So we got a little more experience. Tennessee looked like they about to start a freshman quarterback to jump out the season. But I think this Utah team, it's always going to be tough to play at Utah. It's going to be hard to win games there. So if they could win 3 or 4 road games, they were sitting right at an 8 or 9 win season. But all in all, I had Clemson in my top 25, so I can't be too upset with the first 5 teams at the bottom of this overall.
Yeah, I was actually kind of shocked when I was tabulating all this that Clemson didn't get more votes just based on name alone. I kind of was shocked when I saw that. I kind of feel these are all these and the others receiving votes are kind of, to me, kind of almost interchangeable. You're going to see a lot of movement, I think, down here. So I'm really interested in that Houston squad with their quarterback coming back, Connor Wegman, former 5-star A&M quarterback, just never could stay healthy at A&M. Plus, they've got that was it Keyshawn Henderson, the number 1 recruit down there. He came to Houston. So it just gives them another weapon out there. He's a quarterback, but he can play receiver too, which he might do this year. So I'm really interested in what Houston brings to the table this year.
Ain't that where Mekhi Hughes went to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I like that Houston squad as well.
And let me tell you something, that Houston, that's when that team's good, that stadium's crazy to play in. Those people go nuts down there. Right in the middle of the 3rd ward of Houston. It gets nuts down there. So that's where we are with that. Now we'll jump to teams 20 through 16 in our next group of 5 here. And we'll let everybody kind of see how we tabulated. We went SMU, Iowa, Washington, Penn State, and Michigan at 16. What are we looking? Give me y'all's thoughts. Whoever wants to jump on it. We let Postgame go first if he wants. He ain't gone first yet.
Yeah, I like this little slate of teams. The only one that I really question is Penn State. I know they accumulated a lot of talent. I like the Rocco Beck move. I think he's a gamer. But again, just like Clemson with Penn State, I want to see it first, man. They had a lot of turnover, a lot of portal additions. Michigan could be intriguing this season. Getting Kyle Whittingham to that program, I think, is one of the better coaches in America. So we'll see if he's able to do some damage in the Big Ten this year. Washington might have the best quarterback amongst this group, 20 through 16. You can make an argument for SMU's quarterback as well. Iowa's a team to watch because it seems like every year they're like a quarterback short, like they're gonna run the ball, they're gonna play really solid defense. Iowa's a team to look out for. I think SMU with Jennings at quarterback, I think he could have a bounce back year and do some damage in that ACC conference. But I like this group of teams. I really like Michigan with Kyle Whittingham, but I want to see Penn State first.
Anyone else? Rob, Zay, anyone?
Oh, I got something to say. I thought one take was going.
All right, I go. I like this group of team as well. I would have probably shuffled it a little different. As far as this group go, though, you got 3 schools who I think I love their quarterbacks, and then 2 I don't necessarily love. Out of this group of teams, I think Penn State maybe has the best chance to make a playoff push with the schedule that they got lined up in front of them. These other teams, I think they'll be real competitive, but I just don't see them escaping without 2 losses or more than 2 losses. Michigan, like post game said, oh, he's got quarterback problems, but we keep on hearing about this dude that's behind Underwood and how the freshman running back took the reps from Marshall. We need to start seeing this backup quarterback take reps from Underwood because I'm hearing he's better. So we'll see how that shake out. But all in all, this is a good group of team. All of them going to be really competitive.
Yeah, I like this group as well. I thought Michigan would probably be in the 10 to 15 range, more or less like the 13, 14, 15 range. I really like this group. I would have had Iowa maybe a little bit higher than Penn State because even though we know Penn State got some of those players from Iowa State and their style of play that Matt Campbell has fits the Big Ten, I just don't know if I would have had Penn State above Iowa, a team that we already know is going to be gritty, going to play some really good defense. I like the way their quarterback finished the season last year in that game against Vanderbilt. So I probably would have had them a little bit higher. I would have probably had Washington ahead of them as well, maybe even SMU. But I like this group because I think they're clustered right in the right area of this way too early top 25.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, putting it together, I was kind of laughing because everybody had Michigan 13. I mean, you can tell when you're putting this together, and I see everybody's post. Y'all didn't obviously, well, y'all saw pretty much most of them, but you can pretty much see where all of our minds are all pretty well in tune with who's going to be what and where. There's a lot of teams moving up from this point on that are all just the same almost every line across. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know, maybe somebody will know more than me about this, but wasn't Iowa's quarterback a freshman last year?
The one
No,
who
he was
played
a
in their last
transfer.
game was a freshman.
Oh, the last game, yeah, the one that started throughout the season. He came from like South Dakota State or something.
Okay. I thought the one that played the bowl game was a freshman, and that's going to be so more experience for him with that defense that Iowa always seems to play. Iowa's a good team to watch out for here. I agree with y'all on Penn State. I need to see something first. I know he got a lot of players coming over, but is it going to translate to the Big Ten? That's my question there. The Big 12 and the Big 10 are two totally different leagues. But Iowa State was almost more like a Big 10 school than a Big 12 school most of the time, too. So we'll see how that plays out. Jumping into the next grouping, we've got 15 through 11. We're going to go Alabama, BYU, Texas Tech, USC, and LSU. You can jump first, Zay, if you want. If not, anybody else can go. Rob, whoever.
Yeah, Bama is way too high.
That's
15. I don't like 15, bro. I think Keelan Russell gonna start. Red shirt freshman. No game experience. I don't like quarterbacks with no game experience being high in my rankings. BYU, Texas Tech, that's cool. Clump them together because we don't know what's going to happen in the Big 12, but them are the two most likeliest teams to win it. So them warning that ranking because one of them got to make the playoff, obviously. USC, I think, is a little low for them. Not too far off, though, but by a few spots. I like Miave. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks returning. And LSU is right in the ballpark of where I think, because it's just like you know, all of us gotta wait and see certain teams. LSU is that team for me. I want to see what they look like before I put them too high or too low. I know they done had a whole bunch of injuries this spring, so a lot of guys have been practicing. DBs, the quarterback, all of them done missed time. They got dudes on the offensive line that missed time this spring. So we got to see how that come together over there. But talent-wise, this is a top 5 program, football team right here, talent-wise. So we'll see how that shake out in LSU. But all in all, this is where you start seeing we're getting into the group of you see high-level talent, and then when you hit that 12 mark, you're going to start seeing these couple key factors. Experience at the quarterback, playmakers across the field, and solid defenses. So we getting up into that upper echelon of teams that we're going to start talking about. That's a real life contender on paper this post spring.
Yeah, these are pretty much the 5 teams that I had slotted in this area. I think I had LSU maybe a little bit higher than that and had Oklahoma back in this grouping. But I like the way it looked. Apparently, we all were pretty much thinking along the same lines when it came to everybody from 11 through 25 because we got some of the same similar teams, maybe a position or two higher or lower. I like this grouping. I think Alabama is probably where they should be because we really don't know what Keelan Russell is going to do with them. We really don't know if their running game is going to be back. It's a lot, like one take Zay said, it's a lot we don't really know about Alabama yet, so we can't slide them too high up in this ranking. So about the midway point is about where they probably deserve to be. LSU, another team who we feel like, yeah, you were able to go in the portal. You were able to get Lane Kiffin as your coach. You were able to get a lot of players. But with the injuries, how are they going to fare? How are they going to gel? Are they going to be able to go out there and put that production on the field? Because the last few years we've seen LSU not look so good. Probably because of their coach. And they got a much better coach now. But the verdict is still out on them. We don't want to put them too high, and we definitely don't want to put them too low with the talent that they were able to accumulate. But I like this grouping right here.
Yeah, for me, this grouping is like dark horse, wild card type teams. LSU, I get it. They accumulated tons of talent. They got a really good coach in Lane Kiffin, in my opinion. But even he came out and kind of tempered expectations. Sometimes it's not that first year, it's that second. So LSU's an interesting watch. USC, Another team, tons of talent that I got to see it. I'm not sure if they can compete with the elite teams in the Big Ten. That's just me. I'm not sure if their defense is ready to take that step. We know they can score, and they found the running game as of last season, but I want to see that defense, like I always say, travel to the Midwest when we got hoodies and long socks on. Texas Tech, another talented team. We'll see. We'll find out about Sorsby, their quarterback situation. How much would that affect that team if he actually has to sit out the whole season, or even possibly never come back? But Texas Tech has the athletes. How much would the quarterback position affect them? BYU is a solid team. think I think BYU should be ranked ahead of Texas Tech to begin the season in a way too early. Alabama, maybe they know something we don't know because they extended their coach. We know Bama gonna have some athletes. We know they gonna, they do well with recruiting, and we know what type of program that is. But I think that's a little bit too high for Bama as well. Talented group, 15 through 11, but a lot of question marks.
Yeah, 100% spot on again. Like everybody in the chat, this is why you tune in. The analysis you get here is second to none. These guys say it all. LSU, we're going to see what happens. You're right. I mean, their quarterback there, that's an iffy one with me. He hasn't practiced. He's still recovering from his injury. Trying to come in and learn a whole new system and timing with all these different players. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Bama, I think Bama's low. You did mention that they extended the coach. I was listening to One Take's favorite show the other day, Paul Feinbaum. And he,
hey, man, leave me alone, man.
He had some people calling in. If you've never listened to the Paul Feinbaum show, these people get crazy, but they were mad at the extension, saying we were used to recruiting 5 stars. He's bringing in 3 stars. I'm just like, these people are mad. They are not pleased. They were talking about firing Greg Byrne. It was crazy on there. But we're going to see what happens with that. BYU, we'll see. Texas Tech. I ranked Texas Tech based that Sorsby is the quarterback because as of right now, he is the quarterback. So until we know different, that's where I had Texas Tech ranked them on that. USC, I had USC a little higher on my list. Main reason, what they've got and what they brought in the recruiting class. Booby Feaster is a freak athlete, guys. That dude is electric. Saw him play numerous games in high school, and he is crazy. So that's kind of where I see it. I mean, these are kind of those teams that are on the edge of the playoff for us, some in, some out, but these are teams that you expect to be in the mix, I think. So now we'll jump into teams that we feel are pretty, secure in our list as the playoff teams. Jumping into group 10 through 6, where we see Oklahoma, Mississippi, A&M, Texas A&M, Indiana, and Miami. Who's got what here?
Yeah, hey, Sean, refresh my memory. Where did I have OU come in at?
And
by any,
these are 12.
12, okay. These are post-spring rankings, and when more information comes out, I am subject to change my mind. I just think I should make that disclaimer. But yeah, so this is a good group of. This is where I was saying, like, once I felt like when I did my rankings, once I got to 12, I think you started to see key attributes to each team that was slotted up here, and the main thing that I kind of was rolling with was experienced quarterbacks. So OU, you got Mateer. Mississippi, you got Trinidad. Texas A&M, they return Marcel Reed. Indiana, they got transferred from TCU, Josh Hoover in. Miami, Darian Mensah, gunslinger. These are all things I think you're gonna see out of these top 10 teams is really experienced guys that got a lot of starts under their belts. Some guys was first time starters last year, and then we think they probably gonna be keen on making a jump and a leap this year. But all these teams got athletes from here on out in the skill positions, running back. OU is the one team that I could probably identify and be like, maybe they lack a little bit more skill than the rest of these teams, but that defense, if that defense can be majority of what it was last year, and they can just get a run game or just a home run threat at the wide out. Somebody you could throw the ball 5 yard slant to, and he could just take it to the crib. They can find one type of playmaker on offense. They become dangerous, super dangerous. So, and Mateer was banged up towards the middle of the year, so we'll see how he start his season off, and if he can stay healthy throughout the year, how well he can play. Now, my wildfire team in here, I think Ole Miss might be a little too low. I think I had them at 7, and I was going back and forth for putting them in the top 5 because I'm just in love with Trinidad Chandler's game. I think he's that guy. I think he's a guy that I look forward to seeing where he can position himself into this next NFL draft, because when you hear a lot of people talking about this way too early, big board of 2027, you don't really hear his name before a plethora of guys who I think he outperformed last year. So that's a lot of good teams. We got the defending national champs in there. We got to see how that come together. But I think a lot of us as believers in SIG, Miami, we know they're going to have a good offensive line. That receiver corps is supposed to be even stronger this year. And like we said, Darian Mensah, a gunslinger. So I like this group, Hole and Ho.
Yeah, I like this group as well, man. I like the fact that you mentioned the quarterbacks that we're going to see for each one of these teams. All of them have played a lot of football, and they're all really, really talented quarterbacks. And we know anytime you got that position sold up, you have an opportunity to be really, really good. And I think all of these teams will be right around this area, vying for a chance to make it to the college football playoffs. If I had to look at a team that I thought probably should be in the top 5, it would probably be that Miami team. But I think Indiana is right there as well. But I like the fact that, we got 3 SEC teams right there. That looks really, really delicious.
Man, this ain't no bean pie, man.
Bean pie. Listen, Oklahoma comes in at 10 in our poll. The key for me is going to be, can Mateer return to that form before he got injured? That Heisman front runner form, that's going to be key for Oklahoma if they can continue to play stellar defense. And of course, I think Parker Livingston is going to be the best transfer portal addition in the country. So that was I'm just kidding, Rob. But Parker Livingston getting there from Texas, that's going to be a good addition for that team, man.
I was trying to ignore you, folks.
I know.
if you didn't say it, I was.
But I mean, Mississippi to me is going to be real intriguing, seeing how that offense operates without Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin. I know they got Trinidad, they got Keywan Lacey. They should have a really explosive offense. Are they going to be able to stop people with the losses they've had to that defense? But Mississippi is going to be intriguing, man. I'm high on Chambliss as well. Texas A&M, for me, I mean, they rebuilt the offensive line. They lost a lot on the O-line. I want to see y'all quarterback, SEC Sean, if he's able to take that next step. Y'all gotta figure out the production from y'all key pass rusher as well. Indiana at 7. I had no problem with Indiana being anywhere in the top 10, but to me, and this is just me, when you the defending national champion, I'm the type of person that says you won until somebody beat you. You won until somebody beat you. Any returning champion, when you talk about preseason, way too early polls, I think should be one. But I had no problem with Indiana being anywhere in the top 10. That's just me personally. And Miami, I think Rob mentioned it. This definitely could be a top, 5-4 team. We got them at 6, which is a solid spot. I'm not mad at that at all. But I think Mesa with Tony, and they also returned their running back, who they should have fed more in the national championship in the first half. I think Miami is going to be a really dangerous team, and I look for them to dominate in the ACC conference.
Yeah, this is a real solid group. The one team in here for me that I just don't have all the faith in the world of being in 9. I would have flipped them down. I would have probably had them below like an LSU or somewhere down in that range, in the 15 to 11 range, was Mississippi. Yes, they have Trinidad Chambliss. They have a whole new coaching staff, whole new offensive coordinator, everything. They don't have what they had when they were in the playoffs last year. So I want to see what happens there. This is another let me see it team. They've got the talent. Don't get me wrong. I love Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's phenomenal. It's nothing against him at all. But this is a whole new system. So, and this is going to be really this head coach's first time under the microscope for a whole season. So that's the one team that I was a little bit kind of shocked that we finished up with them at 9. Oklahoma, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They do need to find some offense. Their defense, I think, is going to be able to do what it did last year. Probably maybe not to that level. They lost a lot off that defense. What do you get from the offensive side is the question there. In A&M, it's the same old thing. Let's just see. Reed needs to take a step forward and be more consistent. That's the main thing right there. We have the best wide receiver group we've ever had at A&M as a whole. We've got a stable of running backs. So, and I believe Elko did what he needed to do in the portal to shore up that run defense, which was our Achilles heel last year. If we can shore that up, our back end is going to be legit. The back end of that defense is nasty. Not quite Ohio State level from last year, but that's a pretty good back end of a defense right there. So we'll see how it all comes together for them. Indiana, I mean, I agree with you post game. They're the champions. They should be, but you're also losing a lot. So let's see what happens with Signetti and how he rebuilds that up this year. So we're going to see how that plays out. Again, their quarterback came from the Big 12. It's a lot different ball game in the Big 12 than the Big 10. And then Miami. Miami's a team that I think is definitely going to creep up into the top 5. They're going to be stacked on offense. And if they get any kind of defense like they got last year, Miami's going to be a problem. So that's where we sit with that. I don't have a problem with any of them. Like I said, I think Mississippi's a little too high, but I could be dead wrong. They could go undefeated. I have no idea. But we're just going to have to let that one play out. If you haven't looked ahead, you can pretty much guess where the top 5 are. This was actually really close. It came down.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Before we move to the top 5, I want to ask y'all a question.
What?
Who out of these group of teams, what player do y'all identify y'all could really see winning the Heisman?
Out of the group of 10 through 6, Mensa.
Yeah, out of this group of teams.
Mensa.
I think Mensa, to me, will have the best chance, but I think Reed has a chance. I think Chambliss damn sure has a chance. And I think Mateer, if he can get back to that form before the injury, he'll have a chance too. But the best chance, hands down, is Mensa.
I'm gonna say Mensa as well, but I'm telling you on Trinidad. Oh, am I on mute? Oh, that Trinidad Chambliss, man, he makes a he can make a bunch of wild plays, bro, that can really sway some voters. Because when that guy get to running around and then he making the plays with his arm because he's keeping his head downfield and he's able to make those plays, man, he could definitely sway some voters. I believe it's Mensa in this group, but man, I can see Trinidad Chambliss doing it as well if he gets to play, because the verdict is still out on that as well.
You hope it's not Marcel Reed, in other words.
Well, I think Marcel Reed has an opportunity too as well, because he's a really talented football player too. I just think that once he meets Texas in that last game, that's going to eliminate him.
That's why I knew you couldn't mention Marcel Reed, because that means if he was there, he would have beat your Longhorns. I knew that was going to happen. What about yours? One take. Who you got? You pop the question. You got to pop an answer out there now. He may have gotten tied up. We'll have to see if we can get back to him and get his answer. So, with that being said, while we wait on that, we're going to roll on to the top 5, which, like I was saying, this was super close. It actually came down to the exact final ballot sent in by Doug to decide everything. It was that close. So, without further ado, here we go. Number 5, Georgia. 4, Oregon. 3, Notre Dame. 1, Texas. 2 Texas and 1 Ohio State. And if everybody's curious on the top slot, who voted who where at number 1, I had Texas at number 1. I was trying to go for the jinx. I'm going for the jinx. No. Rob actually had Ohio State. Isaiah put Oregon. Post game went Oregon. And Doug went, give me 1 second. Doug was a homer. He picked Texas. That's what put Texas into second. They were in third. So I think before we get into it, I think we can all agree that this is probably the top 5. Most people who did this in their own, if you filled out your own top 5 at home, this is probably in some form or fashion the top 5 you're going to have. You might be able to flop a Miami in there, maybe in Indiana, but you're going to have some consensus with this top right here. So y'all have got teams in here. I don't, because y'all hate me and put my team on the outside of this group, but that's fine. Where do you think on Notre Dame post game? Let's let you stop this off with. You think they're sitting about right? You think, and you think Notre Dame should have been a little higher, or you feel like y'all are pretty much where you need to be?
I mean, way too early. I'm cool with 3. I'm not. I'm not really. I think they're definitely a top 5 team. So anywhere between 1 and 5 is cool with me. There's actually some people who got them at 1 and 2. I'm not mad at that either. I think Notre Dame, the time is now, Marcus Freeman. You have everything you need to compete for a national championship. I don't want to see you letting your defensive coordinator come in and screw up the first 2 games of the season again like he did last year. All that should be in the past. They should be ready to roll. When you talk about financial support from the administration, Marcus Freeman has that. When you talking about big, playmakers out of the transfer portal, Marcus Freeman has that. When you talk about a big, nasty offensive line, which will be better from last year's offensive line, Marcus Freeman has that. You talk about a quarterback who can be in contention for the Heisman. Marcus Freeman has that. You talk about the best DB room, in my opinion, in the country. Marcus Freeman has that. Great coaching staff. Marcus Freeman has that. If Notre Dame is going to make a run for the title, this is the year it starts now.
Rob, I mean, Texas is coming into this season with as much, if not more, hype than last year, with a second year under Arch, adding some additions into the running back room. I know we've talked about it on previous about your wanting to see the offensive line gel, but what are your thoughts on your Texas squad sitting at number 2 in our rankings?
I kind of would like to have them maybe closer to 4 or 5, just simply because I don't want that target on my back like it was last year when they brought us in at number 1. I want Ohio State to have that number 1 on their back coming week 2 so that we can have something that we want to do to the Buckeyes like they did to us last year in game 1. But I think this Texas team has every piece they need to have themselves in the college football playoffs. They got a really tough schedule. Many people believe, there's some people who believe it's the toughest schedule in the country. They got an 8-game stretch where they got to play SEC teams for 8 weeks straight. That's going to be a tough thing to overcome. But I think with the depth and the talent that this Texas team have, if they make it to the college football playoffs, they might be that one team that has had the most preparedness to make a run in the college football playoffs, because I don't think anybody is going to be more prepared than Texas because of the schedule that they have and the games that they're going to play and the environment that they're going to be in. If they can make it to the college football playoffs, they should be ready to really be really, really good in that college football playoff.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
And yeah, it is. It's y'all go bye week. Y'all get you and Oklahoma both kind of get screwed. You both get the bye week before the Red River, and then you run all the way to the end. So you would kind of wish that bye week would be after that game, as physical as that game tends to be. But the schedule gods did y'all no favor on that. I heard you popping in there one. Oh, go ahead, postgame. Sorry.
Real quick, I got a question for Rob. I noticed y'all played Texas State before y'all play Ohio State. Has that always been on the schedule, or was that added recently?
No, they were there. They were already there in the first week. Yeah, they were already there. Got
it. Because I don't know why I thought y'all played Ohio State the first game of y'all season, but I think that's a little bit better. When I've always been one to think before you play a super tough game, you need somebody not as tough the week before.
Oh, they're not going to be super tough.
Oh, Ohio State not.
No. Easy work.
You better watch Texas State. That's where all y'all fans came from.
Listen, that's going to be a good contest for them. That's going to really prepare Texas. I mean, they ain't going to prepare for Ohio State, but it's going to be a good measuring stick.
I mean,
for what we need to work on going into week 2.
Like I'm telling you, all Texas fans don't know what to do during that game because they don't know whether to pull for their favorite team or their alumni or their alma mater. They don't know because they all went to Texas State. None of them went to Texas. So that's the running joke around the state of Texas with that, is that's just kind of how it is with those two.
What the running joke is that Texas fans have the gift of gab. They have the gift of gab.
Texas fans have the gift of something, but we don't want to get banned or censored, so we're gonna leave that alone. But you never answered your own question. One take. Who was your 10 through 6 team? Who's your Heisman person you see there?
Yeah, it would be somebody off that Mississippi team, whether it's Trinidad or Kejuan Lacey. I think them dudes are super explosive. I think Ewan Lacey got the chance to look like the next coming of Jeremiah Love this year. You know.
That Kewan Lacey's a monster.
You like how I shout you out post? That was just a little slick shout out. You know what I mean? Hey, but look though. I don't know why this dude keep talking about they got the toughest schedule in the country. No, they don't. We do. Hey, and we're gonna do something again that we almost did last year. Y'all know we was number one coming into the year. Well, after week one, after we popped the supposedly number one team that finished like 15th in the country. But we were the number one team all the way into like deep November, you know. We tried to run the whole year at number one. And I think we can do it this year. And you talk about Ryan, you talk about y'all gonna be the most prepared. Man, we'll be real prepared too. You know, you ever looked at our schedule? So hey, but all in all, I did have a case for Notre Dame being number one. Because I love that I can you really can't find a weakness on their roster. Like there's no question marks for me. But I gotta see them do it on the field, man. It's just been so long. It just been such a long period since they did it and really got to the finish line and just completed the mission. So I gotta see it on the field. But that's probably the team outside of Oregon who I identify each position group and I just be like, I just don't see a weakness.
Yeah, I'm interested in Georgia as well. We all know what Kirby Smart brings to the table. I want to see Gunnar Stockton, and if he's able to take another step. Also, getting Isaiah Canyon from Georgia Tech, I think the world of that wide receiver. I think he's going to be a playmaker. Can they put him in a position to really affect the games? Because we know Georgia wants to run the ball down your throat, plays physical defense. But I think Isaiah Canyon can really be a key member of that wide receiver core from Georgia this season.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think they kind of already rambled off about Ohio State there and what he thinks that they can run it through. So, yeah, Georgia's kind of that question to me. The Georgia that kind of came on at the end of the season where they finally figured out to start running the ball a lot more is the Georgia I think we're all used to. They do have their quarterback back again, so that's a huge advantage, of course, with Gunnar being back there. Oregon, I like Oregon. Oregon's a lot of flash, but it seems to be sometimes they like to just fold under pressure too. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that. Notre Dame, I really like this Notre Dame team. I'm really super excited that they're not on our schedule this year. A hell of a game last year, but Notre Dame looks like they're going to be good. CJ coming back with a year under his belt. Great House is still there, right? Isn't he?
Yep. Great House is still there. Great games last 2 seasons, SEC.
Yeah, well, yeah. The first one was a huge defensive struggle for a while. And then last year was who had the ball last won that game. Even though we got away with a hold on the last play, I'm not even going to try to defend that. So, but it's over. It's in the past, so we can count it now. Other than that, this is a really good top 25. I kind of expected it coming from this group of guys that this is kind of where we were going to fall. There was a few of us had some outliers. I know post game's got some questions on Mississippi. He had Mississippi pretty low, and I think it's justifiable with all the changes that went on there last year. Were they playing with lightning in a bottle last year? Were their hair on fire? So all the little cliches you hear, or was it just that good of a team? So we'll have to see what happens this year. I really think it's a good laydown. I'm going to do a little more digging over the next couple of weeks, looking through all of the schedules of our top 25 and just kind of probably the top 10, really, to be honest with you, and kind of look at strength of schedules and kind of rank the schedules as I see them, difficult to least difficult. And I'll put that up on one of our shows and we can kind of debate on that, what we think. You tell me if y'all think I'm wrong or if you think it's good. And we'll debate and move stuff around. We're still a ways off. We got a lot of other things going on right now in the world of sports. So, other than that, just trying to find some time to get some stuff going. Trying to get us a quick update on Doug's daughter's softball score here before we do wind up cutting out of here. Y'all give me a second. Let me pull it up. Oh, they're down 4-1 in the top of the sixth. So. But I think they're a young team. So, that's good to at least make the tournament because not every team makes the tournament in that conference. Only the top 4 in each division. So they made the tournament. I think they're a pretty young team, so that could bode well for them in the next coming years.
Out of these 5 teams, which quarterback do y'all like the most?
Dante Moore.
Moore's a good one. I have to go with Arch. I mean, I've seen Arch when he's on throwing the ball and what he can do with his legs to get out of the pocket. Arch is not your Manning. He's not a statue back there in the pocket. And I'm going to tell y'all what, if you ain't looking at the other Manning, Peyton's son coming up, go look up some of that kid running play action and tell me that don't look exactly the head duck on the ball fake. Peyton Manning, he is 100% Peyton. That kid's coming, but he's not the Peyton Manning statue back there. Arch isn't. He can trust me. I saw it firsthand last year. He can run, and when he's on throwing the ball, it's just a whole different ball game. So I'm leaning Arch, and that's just hard for me to say anybody that knows me.
I mean, if Arch finished the season really well, and if that's the Arch we're going to get for this season, I think that's the Arch that everybody was expecting at the beginning of last season. And if Arch is going to play like that, I think he's going to position himself really good for that Heisman Trophy and for Texas to be set up with a lot of success. I think out of these 5, I like George. Just right now, this is subject to change, but I like Georgia's quarterback the least. That's a tough question because you really can't go wrong with any of these guys. I like Dante Moore. Sand is a really accurate guy. I think CJ Carr is about to have his breakout year. So I mean, that is so tough, man. But as of right now in the preseason, man, I'm gonna give it to Moore.
Yeah, hey, I'm saying it's 3 quarterbacks right here that can really play themselves into this number 1 pick. I think it's going to be a little, biasness towards Manning because the name on the back of his jersey. So, somebody probably had to beat him outright for that spot. Because if it's close, they going to Arch. When we talking about the NFL draft, if all these guys declare, of course. Y'all know I'm a Buckeye, man. And I don't know if y'all recall me saying this, but, man, I done jumped off the Julian saying band off the wagon, man. I just can't get behind him knowing that he a deer in the headlights when it's pressure. I don't like dudes like that because it showed me you ain't got the dog in you that I need, man. And with that boy that's behind him, 6'4", 235, with a rocket for an arm, and he a gunslinger, man, I'm just like, hey, y'all give him 6 games, man. If it ain't looking right, man, let's go with the younger cat, bro. I'm really on that because this is my last year with Jeremiah Smith, and I just want to see fireworks. And I know that boy is going to throw the ball down the field. He's going to push the ball down the field continuously. And Julian Sands just don't do that. He the type that's going, man, hey, Rob, I know you remember this. We had Jeremiah Smith wide open for a bomb when we played y'all, and he threw it to the tight end, and the tight end dropped it.
I didn't drop
Like,
it. Yeah.
I need a gunslinger, man. I want Jeremiah Smith to go out with one of the greatest receiver seasons we ever seen, because I think the boy deserve it. He worked that hard. He that good, and he love the game that much, and he don't cheat it. So I'm hoping that boy play his tail off. But out of the three quarterbacks, he might be the worst one out of CJ Carr and Arch Manning, and Dante Moore. Out of the four, for real. I'll probably take CJ Carr over him for real. He just ain't got that dog in him, though. Hey, Will Howard had the dog in him. He wasn't as good, but he had the dog. Give me a quarterback with the dog. Like, I like guys like Rocco Beck. He might not be the best, but he got that dog in him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So,
that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of jumping back on post game, what you said about Manning last year at the end of the season is the same feel I had about CJ. And that whole Notre Dame team, of course. But I think CJ Carr got a lot more confident as the season progressed, and he was playing some of his better ball at the end of the season as well. So if you get that version of him, y'all are definitely going to be a scary, scary team in my mind. And that's one reason I didn't mention saying when we were talking about it, because I keep hearing and listening to all the stuff up with, and Zay, of course, is being the big one saying it, that he wants to see the other kid come in and play just due to the simple fact. Saying seems to be more of I'm going to take the safe throw versus trying to force something down the field and risking any kind of bad negative play. So it's kind of where I see it.
It ain't even that. It just, I don't like dudes to see ghosts when they see pressure. That just means you playing football, bro. You're going to get hit. He remind me of just like a pretty, because, he grew up on the beach. I want to say, is it Florida or Cali? Which one he from? He from one of them. He grew up on the beach. In California. He a surfer. He just seems like a kid that don't want to be touched in a violent sport. That's all. You're going to get hit, bro. So sometimes you need to stand in that pocket and deliver a dime. Sometimes you need to take off with your feet and get a first down. This is what these things call for.
Yeah, I got a question for y'all before we wrap it up. But before I ask y'all the question, I don't know if y'all seen this stat that 8.1 of percentage of Arch Manning passes were dropped. Just imagine if he was able to complete maybe 5% of those things, he would have been up around 67, 68%. And his stats would have looked a little bit better. Hopefully he got the receivers that can help him. Because Julian Sain, I think, had the best, and his was only 2.1% of his passes were dropped. That's amazing. That's an amazing stat right there. But my question for y'all is,
real quick before you get your question, let me follow up. Wasn't you had mentioned you hope you got the receivers to kind of eliminate that, but weren't a lot of those dropped from Ryan Wingo himself?
Ryan Wingo himself, yeah.
Yeah. And he's back again.
Yeah. And he's back again. Yeah, hopefully he get his hands together.
Yeah.
So if you look at those teams we got from 6 through 10, let's take Miami out because Miami could possibly be in that top 5. Is there anybody 7 through 10 that you think could make it to the national championship and beat any of those teams 1 through 6?
For me, I mean, that's a really good question, man. I think if I think Indiana for sure, A&M. I like what Elko is doing with that program. The offensive line is what I got to see from them, and of course, if Reed is able to take that next step, Mississippi has a ton of question mark, but man, they got 2 damn good players. So if I got to pick one, I like what Indiana did in the portal. I like some of the players they were able to pick up. I think the quarterback they got fits what Coach Signetti wants to do on offense, and that defensive line is still filled with dogs. So I'm gonna go with Indiana.
I'm a move to the group behind that actually, and I'm gonna identify LSU and USC. Them are my teams. Uh, just LSU is just so ultra talented, man. If he can put it together this year, they got the dogs to go up against anybody. And then USC, I like the DC hire they got. I think that defense is coming. I think it really is. I think this is the year. And when you look at Lincoln Riley and you look at some of his best teams, they all had a great running game, and he was able to accomplish a great running game last year. And moving forward, all you got to do is clean up the defense. So if they can clean up that defense, man, I'm telling you, they'd be able to play with anybody in the country.
Yeah. Go back and look here. Everything falls right. I like what A&M's got. If Reed can progress from what he progressed from year 1 to 2, if he can make that same type jump to year 3 with the depth that we have on that whole team, this is our deepest roster that I can remember in years. 2-3 deep across almost all the positions that are important. The offensive line is stacked with depth. The defensive line's got depth. So it's just a matter of can it all come together. I could see A&M making a run. Indiana, you don't count out Signetti. And Miami, I could see. Well, we said we leave Miami out of that one. So A&M, Indiana. I don't see Oklahoma doing it. I don't have faith in their offense. And you mentioned USC's defense. Didn't they hire Gary Patterson to be their DC now? See, I'm not. I think the 3-3-5 is overblown. I don't think it's that good of a defense, to be honest with you. I don't like it. I think it worked when he was running it at TCU, but I think the times have bypassed that defensive scheme. So
Ask Texas about the 3-5.
that was back then. That's back then, yeah. Nowadays, I don't think the 3-3-5 is a good play.
It's Steve
Just my opinion
Sarkisian
on it.
kryptonite.
Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I see it. Following a
Hey,
good question.
you know the main thing about your Aggies, man, I be hesitant is Marcel Reed. His lows are low. They are
Oh, I know.
really low.
Yeah,
And, and
that's my biggest fear.
and if he could just be consistent and not have the lows, man, y'all really got a chance too, for real.
Yeah, I will be honest. I love our backup, Brady Hart. But he's not quite as mobile, and we'll see what happens. We're also changing offensive coordinators, and Holman Wiggins, he was at Bama when they had Jalen Hurts. So he knows what a mobile quarterback can do. So, and he's a hell of a receivers coach. Obviously, look at what he did at Bama. So we're going to see how that changes too with the OC change. But you're right. If you give me Marcel Reed in the second half of that South Carolina game, we probably win the national title last year.
Yeah,
But
in the first half, y'all gonna fall out of the top 10.
you go Marcel Reed in the first half, we're out of the top 25. So, but yeah, that's the problem I have with us is what are we going to get from Marcel? That's my main question. But we're going to see what happens and let it play out. Like I said, it's all fun. Pads will get strapped up. You mentioned y'all were mentioning LSU. I want to give y'all a little heads up here. LSU better not complain about their schedule. Every rough game they have is in Death Valley.
It's in Death Valley, yeah.
They get they get Ole Miss on the road. That's going to be brutal. That's the first game of the SEC slate. But they host A&M. They host Alabama. and they host Texas. And you guarantee every one of them is going to be a night game.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't hear any complaining from any LSU people that ever join this stream.
Is there a team 25 to 16 that could possibly sneak into the top? Y'all could see sneaking into the top 5 by season's end?
Let me put up the 25 through 21 here. Y'all look at those teams. When everybody's got a good gauge, I'll move on to the 20 through 16s.
Or maybe I should say which one of those teams has the most upside.
Yeah, I gotta go with Dabo. I think that Clemson team. I don't think people know about Christopher Vizina. I think that's a name that people are gonna come to learn that this dude can play. And then they also got a new OC. No, that's not the. Yeah, they do got a new OC. I remember. I think it's the guy right before Trevor Lawrence came. He took them out of the power I and brought them to the spread. So I think that offense is a clean up. He brought him in to clean that offense up. But I'm telling y'all, Penn State hit the schedule jackpot, and they got a dog at quarterback. They are going to get through that schedule with only 2 losses. You can mark it right now. One take Zay called it. I book it. Matter of fact, I'm putting a ticket in, and I'm guaranteeing that they make the playoffs. They're going to have 2 losses, and they're going to make the playoffs as a 2-loss Big Ten team. And it's going to be ridiculous. People going to be in an uproar. And
can they crack the top 5?
You said what?
That was the question. Can they
moving in the top 5? They're going to move in the top 5, but I do think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be in that top 10. Well, not top 5. I don't see none of them teams really being top 5 teams.
I don't see none of them making the college football playoffs.
Well, I could make a case on a flyer if you want to say looking at those teams. I could take a flyer, and I could say with the athletic ability on the whole roster from top to bottom, offense to defense, SMU is loaded with talent if they can put it all together. You know, you saw them beat Miami last year. That team, there's some studs, there's some dogs on that team. They get all them kids out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which, if y'all aren't aware, in Texas high school football, Dallas-Fort Worth swept every state championship game. They beat the city of Houston and San Antonio in every game, all 11. Well, I think they matched up in 8 of them, and they swept all 8 of them.
Yeah, so, I doubt any of these teams getting the top 5. But if I'm gonna take a flyer on one, how you feel about SMU is how I feel about Louisville. Michigan, I think the kind of stability Whittingham brings to a program with the talent, hopefully they're able to use their quarterback in the correct way. Maybe he can clean up some things. Michigan could. But, man, I'm telling y'all, and I don't even like the University of Louisville. It's one of the teams I really dislike, but I got to keep it funky for the people watching. I think Louisville can make a run in the ACC. Now, what that means, does that mean winning the ACC and beating Miami? Maybe not, but that's a team to look out for sure.
Yeah, I got a question for you post game, and then I'm gonna be quiet. There's a little bit of buzz out there that says that when it comes to the college football playoffs, that Texas Tech and Notre Dame have the best chances of making it every year. They're saying Texas Tech because they can outspend anybody in the Big 12. So they're always going to bowl a roster that can probably dominate the Big 12 and make it to the college football playoffs as an automatic bid for winning that conference. And then they say Notre Dame because they can decide what their schedule is and always come out with a really good record, especially if they don't go back to playing USC year in and year out again. What's your thoughts on that talk out there as it relates to the college football playoffs and your Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Bull baloney. Because guess what? For the people saying that, we don't outside. Okay, it was a special situation where we didn't get USC back on the schedule. We had to get somebody on the schedule. We got BYU. Other than that, the majority of our schedule is already set in stone. We got Texas coming up. We got Michigan coming up. We got Florida State, Alabama, teams like that. So now they would have a valid point if Notre Dame was making their schedule the year before or months before the season. But the fact that they don't is just utter nonsense. And it's just a testament to the hate Notre Dame gets. But I get it, man. People are mad at Notre Dame. They always going to be mad at Notre Dame. Rob, we've talked about this on shows plenty of times. They hate that Notre Dame has found a way to have their cake and eat it too. That's all that is.
Yeah. I think we've mentioned this before, jumping in on post-game side here with that. Was the ACC sets 6-year games, right? The ACC set 6-year games with their conference, right?
Absolutely. The ACC sends us those teams.
Yeah, and then those schedules are made a year in advance at least. So all you know is you got to keep these dates open if you don't have it and fill in around it. You got to get what's left based on other conferences. So, I don't think, anybody dogging Notre Dame on that. And it's just somebody that's not paying attention and doesn't understand the inner workings of how schedules are built nowadays. 20 years ago, A&M didn't have games penciled in with Notre Dame for 15 years down the road. You just didn't do that. You did it a couple years ahead of time. You normally, a lot of it back then was home and home. Hey, we'll come to you, you come to us, and then the next year you find somebody else to partner up with. Nowadays, these things are made so far in advance that, and it's kind of a detriment because you don't know who's going to be good. Everybody that had Clemson on their schedule last year was like, all right, we got a chance to well, Clemson wasn't good. So, yeah, that's just kind of my thought on it. People just need to get off of it.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks.
Go ahead,
Rob. Hey, I'll tell you this, Poe game. After we beat Texas ass this year, and if they lose 2 more SEC games and not make the playoff, they're going to back out. I'll tell you that right now.
No, cuz it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. But I think y'all got a 10-year deal with Clemson, right?
Y'all can't hear my shots fired.
Yeah, we hear it. We trying to ignore it. We trying to ignore it, man, because One Take been doing that for like 3 days in a row now.
Hey,
I was just making sure. Go ahead.
No, I was just telling you, he started it. He started it in the group chat. I don't even know why he acting like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not. It's not. The reason I ask because it don't seem like it's loud enough, but whatever.
Yeah, it was loud enough. I was just ignoring it. All right, y'all. Well, I'm done. I don't have no more questions, man.
You got no more questions, Rob? We were waiting. We weren't sure. We weren't sure. Zay, you gonna fire off any more shots at anybody?
Nah, I ain't got no more ammo in the clip, man. I got to go reload.
All right, cool. Post game still firing them off over there.
Shots fired.
That's it. Fire them all. So no, good debate, good talk. Like everybody's insight on some of the teams. Kind of touch base a little bit on everybody's own team too. That was really, good. I don't know about y'all, but football season can't come soon enough for me. best part of the whole thing. So we're going to see what happens and plays off with it. Rob, I will allow you to plug all of the socials for the website and everything real quick if you want to give them the shout out.
Everybody out there in the chat, make sure that you check out all of our channels scrolling across the bottom. We know that we come on as WTP Sports Dudes, but every individual person has their own YouTube channel. Please check out all the names scrolling across the bottom and go and subscribe to every last one of those. Hit the like button on those videos and also hit the bell so that you can get notifications anytime we go live. And that way you can tune into any one of those channels and get to see us every time we go live, because we stream our videos on every single channel that's out there that's scrolling across the bottom. Also, you can check our website out at WTPSportsDudes.com. Go and check us out. It's being updated as we speak. Also, you can check us out on WTP Sports Dudes 2026 on Patreon and Spotify. Go check us out. Continue to support us. Continue to share our videos with your friends and family, because we are trying to grow our channels to bring you as much content as possible. But the more you help us, the more we can bring to you.
100%. I heard Zay say it the other night. Just subscribe if you don't mind. Drop us a subscribe to all the channels. Don't cost you anything. Don't sign you up for any newsletters or any emails. Just hit up, and it just helps us grow the channel to continue to bring the sports content people want. You go to our webpage. I believe there's a place where people can ask questions on the webpage. Am I right, Rob?
That is correct.
If there's a topic you want us to discuss, throw it in there. We'll bring it up on one of our streams for sure and talk about it. We're here to make content for y'all to enjoy. So any feedback y'all want to give us on topics or questions or anything, you jump in the comments and ask them, or email them or to us, and we'll get to them on one of our upcoming shows. Without anything else left to go into, we'll go into get on out of here for the evening. Great show again, fellas. Appreciate y'all joining in. Post game, appreciate all you bring for the insight you bring. Zay, same thing for you. Bringing all that you bring for the Ohio State side, the Notre Dame side for post game. Rob with his Longhorns. Good banter back and forth. I like it. I like to have a little fun with it. So, other than that, I hope everybody has. That's it. It's going to get ramped up even more as we get closer to these football kicking off. So, definitely stay tuned. We got more content coming your way pretty much every day. Other than that, last words from you, Zay. Are you good? I guess Zay's good. So as we always do, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to slip on out the building and wish everybody a great night and peace.
Yeah.